"Reeve, put it back." Marcus froze. The bag was already in his hand. His supervisor didn't stop walking, 2 hotel guests beside him. "You're not getting overtime for this," he said. "Clock out before you embarrass yourself." A quiet smirk from one of the guests. Silence. Marcus said nothing. The bag felt wrong, too heavy. Behind him, a pencil stopped moving. He didn't turn right away. "Did you hear me?" the supervisor added, already halfway down the ramp. Footsteps faded. Marcus looked down at the bag. Black, clean, no tag visible, out of place. Slowly he turned. Priya sat on the concrete step near the booth, her notebook open in her lap. She wasn't writing anymore. She didn't look up, but her jaw was tight. Marcus held her there for a second, then looked back at the bag. Most people would have put it down, logged it, gone home. Marcus didn't. He finished his shift 45 minutes late. Again, no overtime. Same as always. By the time he and Priya stepped out into the night air, the city had already moved on without him. At home, she sat at the table doing homework while he made something quick for dinner. Neither of them mentioned the garage. Neither of them mentioned what happened. Later, she showed him a drawing, just the 2 of them, standing side by side. He was in his uniform. She'd drawn him taller. Marcus smiled, said nothing. When she went to bed, he took the bag out, set it on the table, stared at it. There was a number on the clasp. He called it. 2 rings, voicemail. He left his name, the hotel, then hung up. He could have opened it. Nobody would have known. Not his supervisor, not the guests, not even Priya. Marcus rested his hand on the zipper and stopped. Because a man can lose a lot of things quietly. His job, his pride, his place in the world. But once he loses the way his daughter looks at him, he doesn't get that back. Marcus zipped the bag shut, logged it. Date, time, location. By the book. Exactly the way he was supposed to. And that was the decision that would cost him everything. The bag belonged to Victor Crane. Not just any Victor Crane. The Victor Crane. $4 billion. His name on 3 buildings in the city. His face on the cover of 2 national business magazines. And his bag, somehow, had ended up in Marcus Reeve's hands. The manager delivered the news the next morning like it was Marcus's fault. A representative from Crane Capital had called overnight. The bag was to be hand-delivered to their building. Marcus was to confirm his identity on arrival, and he was to do it in his own time, not on the clock. That evening, Marcus set the bag carefully on the kitchen counter. The strap shifted. The side pocket opened slightly. He didn't intend to look. A folded document slid out onto the tile. He saw 3 things before he could stop himself. A number, 8 figures, a wire transfer confirmation, and in the margin, handwritten in blue ink, Cole, final movement before Thursday. He closed the pocket, locked the bag, sat at the kitchen table and didn't move for a long time. Priya walked in from her bedroom, half asleep, and asked if everything was okay. He told her yes. He wasn't sure that was true. The building and the lobby. The Crane Capital lobby was built to make men like Marcus feel like they walked into the wrong building. Marble floors, a reception desk carved from stone, 2 security guards who looked at him like they were measuring how long he'd last in the room. The receptionist asked his name, then asked him to spell it. He was told to wait along the far wall, next to a plant, away from everyone else. A man stepped out of the elevator before Victor Crane did. Late 30s, perfect hair, expensive watch, calm posture that didn't need to prove anything. He introduced himself as Derek Cole, Chief Operations Officer. He held out his hand for the bag. Marcus looked at it and didn't move. He said quietly that the bag had Mr. Crane's name on it. He would prefer to return it directly. He was willing to wait. Something shifted behind Derek Cole's eyes, not anger, calculation. He understood exactly what Marcus had just done. In that moment, Marcus has no power, no leverage, and no protection. He still refuses to hand over the bag. Be honest. Would you have stood your ground like him, or handed it over the second Derek Cole asked? 3 days after Marcus returned the bag, a man he had never seen before sat down on the low wall outside the parking structure during his break. No jacket. Cold morning. Dressed just carefully enough to look casual. He said he was a consultant for Crane Capital. He said the company appreciated Marcus's integrity. He placed an envelope on the wall between them. $12,000. Cash, neatly stacked. No paperwork, no explanation. Just take it and forget the bag ever existed. Marcus looked at the envelope. He looked at the man. Then he leaned back and, in a conversational tone, the kind someone uses when reading a grocery list, mentioned the name of Priya's school, her bus number on Tuesdays. He noted that level 3 of the parking structure has no camera coverage after 6 in the evening. He said none of it as a threat. That was the point. Marcus stood up slowly. Marcus looked at him. You just made this personal. He walked back to work. He did not touch the envelope. He knew Priya's school, her bus number, the route she takes alone twice a week. This man had been watching her, and Marcus had no way to prove any of it. Marcus didn't answer, but the man already knew too much for it to be a coincidence. After the man left, Marcus went home, sat at the kitchen table, and opened his laptop. He did not search Derek Cole's name. He searched the wire transfer destination he had memorized from the document in the bag, a habit from a part of his life most people did not know about, before the valet job, before Dara died. Marcus spent 3 years as a junior forensic financial analyst for a regulatory oversight body. He was not senior. He was not impressive on paper. But he learned one very specific thing in those 3 years: how money moves when someone is trying to hide where it is going. He recognized the account structure immediately. He cross-referenced the destination name against public company filings, something he still knew exactly how to read, and found a shell company registered 18 months ago, 2 weeks before Dara's accident. He opened a second tab. He searched the case number from her accident. Then the name of the legal firm that closed it in 6 weeks. Same firm, listed as registered agent for the shell company. He sat very still. Then he closed the laptop and went to check on Priya. He stood in her doorway and said nothing. The case didn't just close. It was closed. And Marcus was finally looking at the hands behind it, the firm that buried it, the money that moved 2 weeks before his wife died. This was never about a bag. It was never going to be about a bag. And Marcus has just realized that the man who threatened his daughter is connected to the people who took her mother. And for the first time since Dara died, Marcus stopped thinking like a man who wants answers
and started thinking like someone who might actually get them. The question is, what does a man do when the truth he just found could destroy him before he ever gets to use it? Marcus called the Crane Capital main line the next morning and asked for Nadia West by name. He had seen her on a schedule card that slipped out of the bag. One name. That was enough. She called back 2 hours later. They met at a coffee shop 4 blocks from the hotel. She came alone. She looked composed, but Marcus could see it wasn't real. She hadn't slept. Not properly. Not in days. Marcus didn't waste time. Did Victor Crane know what Derek Cole was doing? Nadia went still. For a moment, she didn't answer. Then she said yes. Derek Cole had been moving money through shell companies for 14 months. $60 million. Some of it came from a corporate liability fund, Crane Capital's internal account for quietly settling accidents, lawsuits, and contractor incidents. Marcus leaned forward. Say that again. She did. The liability fund. The same account used to settle cases quickly, quietly, cheaply. And Dara's settlement had come from it. Processed fast, approved low. Not because it was fair, because it was convenient. Because Derek needed the rest of the money elsewhere. Marcus didn't speak for a long time. Nadia watched him carefully. Then she said it. Victor Crane needed one outside witness. Someone Derek Cole couldn't pressure, discredit, or remove from the record. One formal statement. One name on paper. And that person would be at risk. Real risk. Not theoretical. Silence filled the table. Victor Crane asked to meet Marcus away from the building. No security, no office, no lawyers. A park near the waterfront. Saturday morning. Victor arrived alone. Outside the glass towers, he didn't look like a billionaire. He looked tired, like someone who had been carrying something too heavy for too long, and hadn't found a way to put it down. He didn't soften anything. He told Marcus everything. The audit, the shell companies, the stolen money. He didn't dress it up, because Marcus didn't need it dressed up. Priya ran over from the swings, holding her notebook. A drawing. 2 figures. Something that might have been a tree or a building between them. "It's you and me," she said. "At work." Victor looked at it longer than he should have. Marcus turned back to him. "One question. Did you know the settlement fund was being used like this?" Victor didn't hesitate. "No. I've been trying to audit it for 4 months. Derek blocked every attempt." Then, quieter. "I didn't know about your wife." A pause. "I didn't know there was a child." He looked at Priya when he said it. Not away from her. At her. Marcus held the silence. Then nodded. "I'll give the statement." Victor didn't react immediately, but something in his posture shifted. Not relief. Understanding. Derek Cole had already filed legal objections. He was prepared. He had lawyers ready. He had weeks of preparation. He thought he was ahead. What he didn't know, what no one had told him, was that Nadia had already pulled a second thread, a backup server, encrypted logs, and a transaction chain that didn't just prove fraud, but connected every name in the system. The story broke by midday. Crane Capital COO removed. $61 million in unauthorized transfers. 32 settlement cases under review. The headlines moved fast. So did Marcus's name. He saw it the next morning outside the hotel, fixing a ticket machine near the east entrance. A journalist found him there. "Do you consider yourself a hero?" Marcus paused, then shook his head. "I found a bag that wasn't mine," he said. "I gave it back. I told the truth when I was asked." He picked up his tools and went back to work. Victor Crane issued a public statement. Full restoration of the settlement fund. Independent review of all 32 cases. Every settlement below fair value to be reopened. Dara's case was one of them. Marcus didn't attend the announcement. He took Priya to school, went to work, came home and cooked dinner like nothing had changed. Rice and fried plantain, the way she liked it. A week later, Nadia called. Victor wanted him in the new compliance division. Not as a favor, as the only man who understood exactly how the system failed and how to stop it from happening again. Marcus said he would think about it. That evening, he took Priya to the park. No phone, no headlines, no noise, just swings. She ran ahead. "Higher, Dad," she called. "Push me higher." Marcus stood for a second, then walked over. Victor Crane had billions. Derek Cole had lawyers and silence. Marcus had a gray shirt, a notebook, and a daughter who drew him taller than he was. And somehow, that was enough. That night, Priya made a new drawing. 2 figures on a swing set. At the bottom, in careful handwriting, "My dad is the strongest person. Not the richest, not the loudest, just the strongest." Some people change everything without ever needing attention. They just do what's right when it matters most. If you know someone like Marcus, someone the world overlooks but should never underestimate, share this with them. They need to see it. And if stories like this are why you're here, subscribe. Because the next one is about what happens when silence is no longer enough.